Sometimes I wonder if you really love me.
Of course I do.
Let's talk about that.
So, like you saw in the video that we just showed you, body language is more important than words. What do we mean by that? We mean that we talk a lot about communication. You know, what to say, how to say, what to say in romantic relationships in the way that your partner would listen.
Right.
But actually there's something more powerful in communication, which is not what you say, but how you say it, your body language.
Right. As you saw in the example that we gave, when I came and asked Gal if he loved me, what I felt from him is like, I don't care about you, you're not important to me, and I definitely don't love you. It's not what he meant, but his body language, you know, just by typing on the laptop, felt like, oh, you're not really listening to me or pay attention to me. That didn't feel loving.
Right. Even though someone on paper look at those words will just say,
Right.
oh, that's so nice when you say, of course I love you.
Right.
Okay. But the body language became more important than actually, trump.
The delivery of the words.
Yeah, trump what I was saying in my words.
Right. So what is actually body language? Body language is everything that is not the words that you're hearing. It can be the facial expression. It can be your tone of voice. It can be your gesture, your body posture, your level of energy. Everything that you do with your body that it's not delivered by words.
It's not what you can read on paper,
Right.
basically.
Right.
And why is that important? There's two reasons why it's important. One is that your body language actually a lot of times shows something that's happening for you in an unconscious way.
Right.
And so sometimes if we pay attention to our own body language, right, I can learn more about what's happening inside of myself. Like, what am I really feeling? What am I really thinking? Not what I tell myself, but what's really going on. So paying attention to myself actually will create more self-awareness.
Right. And many times it also impacts your partner. And the reason for that is because how you hold yourself, how you communicate with your body really impact how your partner feels. And of course, it's part of it is how they interpret your body expression. And the other one is how you deliver it yourself. So it can have impact both sides.
And so that's why it's important to pay attention to it, because sometimes you have a certain intention, but it transmits to your partner differently. Again, just the example we did, I might feel inside like, yeah, of course I love you.
Yeah.
But it transmitted differently to Liron at that point.
Right.
And I want to give another example. I worked with a couple, in couples counseling, in which they came from two different cultures, right? And it's a heterosexual couple, and the woman, when she was talking, her face would show so much emotion, right? And when she was happy, for him, it felt really good, because he felt like, oh, she's happy with me. But when she was upset, because her face was showing so much information, it really made him feel emotional and triggered and upset, because immediately you would think like, oh, we're so bad. What's going on? Because if I look at your face,
Right.
It looks like it's terrible. We're about to break up. When she was just meaning like, no, I'm frustrated with something. All right, so that difference between them and how they interpret facial expression was so powerful that at some point I told them, you know what? I want to tell the woman, when you're upset at him, it's actually better that you don't look at him. Because then he doesn't see your facial expression.
It's
He just listens to your words, but it doesn't really see your face.
Right. And it reminded me actually an example from us that the other day Gal kind of like told me that there is some facial expression that I give him when I'm unsatisfied or unhappy with him that's really turned him off, like really create some feelings and emotions inside. And I'm a nice person. I always kind of like trying to be sweet, but apparently somehow it's not being delivered well to the other side.
Well, it could be in the very small thing. And like you tell me, like, hey, did you put the thing in the car? But there's something, I think I asked you about it later on. I think it just happens when you're a little stressed and time is short. But the way I hear that tone of voice is like, did you screw up again? Right? And of course, when that is my interpretation, I don't like that, right? And so that triggers me.
Yeah, God doesn't like to fail. Yeah. And it's kind of like my manager part that's coming out. We have to go outside the house and be somewhere in a certain time. So I have to manage things. So I become much more sharp, I guess, or to the point, and it seems like you don't like it.
Not so much, but I learned to interpret it differently,
right.
So I don't take it as personally.
Right, yeah. Because otherwise, in the past, I just want to add, in the past, you used to kind of like turn off, get more silence, more quiet, and not talk with me for a while.
Or get upset at you, like, why are you treating me this way?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and now that he's kind of like taking it from a different perspective, there is more space. We can talk about it. We can just like, hey, you gave me that look, or your tone of voice turned me off. Can we just slow down for a moment?
Mm-hmm. So we wanted to also give you like 5 pointers, some 5 aspects to pay attention to when you look at your body language, right? So one thing,
you can come close, like, you can come to your partner more of like that, what's up, and it feels like more of like you're close to your partner, or you can come like, hey, what's up, how was your day today? That feels a whole different, right?
Yeah. And so a lot of them, when people are closed, they do something more like this, for example, all right? Or they close their body to the other person versus an open posture towards their body, towards their partner. Another point would be turning towards versus turning away. Okay, so sometimes when we turn towards the partner, so we really look at them, we get closer to them, right? And that transmits one thing, like more probably I'm paying attention to you, I'm close to you. And other times we do things in which we're turning away, right? Like our partner talks to us and we look at the phone, or we just look at the floor, we do something else.
Dishes.
Or do dishes, and then we're turning away. And again, you have to check, like, how does that impact your partner? Sometimes it's not a big deal for them, or sometimes it is. It feels like you're not listening.
And I do that a lot, I have to say, because I'm multitasking. So I'm, like folding the laundry while he's talking to me, just like, not listening. No, I am listening, and I'm really listening, but I really need to let him know that I'm here. I can do that. I can fold the laundry, and I can talk with you, and I can change the diaper and listen to you. So it's really about communicating. Are you there? Are you listening to me? And when he does that, I'm just like, okay, hey, I'm here, and I can do that. But I'm really turning toward him, getting the eye contact, like I'm here, so he can feel like I'm here. You see, he had a smile on his face. Yeah.
A third point is in terms of the distance.
Yes. So we can be very close to each other while we are talking, which feels, a certain point, like much more intimate. It doesn't have to be sexual, but we can be much more close, much more eye contact, physically connected to each other, or we can just have a conversation that it's much farther away. That is kind of like, which is fine too, but it really depends what is your intention and how you deliver that. Are you really present? Your energy really being delivered to the other person? Or are you thinking about your to-do list, or where you want to go to have dinner, or anything else? So your partner may feel energetically that you're not there, and that's actually our next point. No?
But before that, I also want to add to that, also with the closeness and distance, is also whether you're using touch or not, right?
Okay.
Like that's another form of like you want to pay attention in your body language, right? Because when you use touch, it's a little bit of a different body language than when you're distant and you're not using touch. Right?
Yeah, that makes a whole difference if we're having dinner and we're sitting close to each other and, and touching in between or just looking at each other. It doesn't have to be like too much. It's like, hey, how are you doing? Or how do you feel today? Just like having somewhat form of touch feels really good and connected versus not touching. And some couples actually don't touch each other for a long time, have no any form of touching in any way. And when they come to our workshop and they start like doing little exercise that we involve touch, it just feels so different for them.
It's so nourishing.
Wow, my body need that, my soul need that.
And so another point about body language to pay attention to is whether you are relaxed in yourself or whether you're tense.
Yeah.
Like if I say to you like, hey, did you take the trash out? Right? And my tone of voice is a little more tense. It's much different than, hey, do you take the trash out?
Yeah, or even the example that when I'm more busy and I'm just giving orders, I'm much more tense in my body because I'm busy and I have to make things happen. So I'm just more contracted and more holding myself because I have to move fast, and that's what I believe that I have to do. Versus just like, well, it will happen anyway and I can just relax and be inside myself.
Right. And so when you're relaxed a lot of time, you can deliver a lot more messages and it will get through to the other partner, to your partner in a better way.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's important to pay attention to what's happening for you inside.
And the last one, which we already talked, and it's obvious, but it's your tone of voice and how you deliver that. It can be very sharp and strong, or it can be more soft or more medium. But having more attention to how you deliver, what is your tone of voice, can set a whole difference. So we really want to invite you to track how you do that. Slow down when you talk and look at your partner and see how they respond to you while you talk. Because that can give you a really good example or a clue of how you delivered, if it worked for them or not, if it landed well or not. And if not, you can see it right away. You know your partner really well, right? They kind of like get tense, or they turn away, or they roll their eyes, or they do something different that you know that's what your intention, the way that you said, whatever you said, didn't work for them.
So thank you for watching this. And if you want to learn more, you're welcome to go to lovemadesimple.com and learn more about our workshops and offering, in which we include those things. We include how to talk to each other and also the body language, because we find it's really, really important.
Yes. Thank you.